Paperback Writer.
Hi everyone. So today we're going to talk a little bit about paragraphing. So writing essays can sometimes seem really overwhelming. There's lots of things to think about, and for those of us who might feel even more math oriented, not having a kind of formula or a structure to guide us can be really disorienting. So what I'm going to talk about today is one structure, right? There are many ways that we can write essays, but this is a great structure. It works, and it can help guide you along the way as you're writing your paper. So I'm going to be asking you to do a couple of things throughout this video, and I'm going to be asking you to pause it along the way. So please follow along the directions that I give so that you're able to really get the most out of this that you possibly can. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just give you guys a couple of sentences, blocks of sentences. And these sentences have been taken from an original paragraph. And this paragraph, I just broke it up into pieces. What I want you to do is pause this video as soon as the sentences come up on the screen. And I want you to, on a separate sheet of paper, write down the order that you believe these sentences belong in. So your job is to read the sentences and then write them down how you think they should be ordered. And you can just number them 1, 2, 3, 4 as they are on the sheet that you're going to get. So here comes the set of sentences. There should be 5. Take a look at them and see what order you believe that they're in. Now that you've ordered those sentences, you think you have the paragraph put back together in its original order, which is excellent. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some theoretical idea of how a paragraph should look, like the way that it should be formatted. So as I'm talking, take some notes, but I'll also try to flash up some notes on the screen as I go. So the paragraph almost always opens with a topic sentence, right? A topic sentence is probably not a new phrase to you, but it is what it sounds like, right? It presents the topic of the paragraph. That topic of the paragraph should connect directly back to our thesis statement. So it should be a sub-point of our thesis statement. So that topic sentence informs the reader about the subject or idea of the paragraph and what it will cover. Great, so you state to the reader, this is what my paragraph is going to be about. The sentence I should say sentence or sentences, because it might be more than one sentence, and that's okay. It depends on what you're writing, but you have a topic sentence or sentences, then you have a first main point, right? So the first main point, it backs up, furthers, or explains the topic sentence. So you state the idea and then you say something about that idea, right? So you sort of say a little bit more to the reader about it. Second main point usually provides a reason for the first main point. And by reason, I mean evidence, examples. It gives the reader a reason to believe this idea, this topic that you're discussing. Then you have a third main point. This either backs up the second main point, right, so it provides more evidence and examples, or it reinforces the topic sentence, okay? Then you end your paragraph with a conclusion or a transition. This part of the paragraph completes the topic and transitions into the next paragraph. So we have a topic sentence that informs the reader about the subject. We have a first main point that explains that topic sentence a little bit. A second main point that gives some reasoning or evidence for those 2 previous points. Then we have a third main point that either backs up the second main point or reinforces the topic sentence. And then lastly, a conclusion that moves us into the next paragraph. So here's the answers. Let's see if you got the correct order. The very first sentence of this paragraph originally was, slave spirituals often had hidden double meanings. So the reason that this is a great topic sentence is that it's making a claim, right? It's stating an idea. Slave spirituals, they're more than just songs. They mean two things. So it's stating a topic, it's taking a stance, and now we need the author to tell us more about it so we can decide if we agree. So slave spirituals often had hidden double meanings. That's a great topic sentence. Now what comes next is that first main point, right? We're backing up, explaining, or furthering that claim that we just made. So that sentence should be, on one level, spirituals referenced heaven, Jesus, and the soul, but on another level, the song spoke about slave resistance. So now we're getting some information. Not only do slaves, spirituals have hidden double meanings, now we know what those double meanings might be. Something about heaven, Jesus, and the soul, but also about resistance. So here are the two things that this whole paragraph is going to talk about. So the second main point is that longer chunk. For example, right? That transition right there even tells us that we're getting some reasoning, some evidence, some proof, right? And the author quotes a slave spiritual for us, right? They give us an example of how it's not only about heaven and Jesus, but it's also about the resistance, right? So we're actually witnessing, we're seeing, experiencing that double meaning firsthand as a reader. So this evidence is starting to show us that, hey, the author might have a point here and we should get on board with this. But a lot of times one example is not convincing enough. We need another one to sort of see if we really agree. And the author provides that for us in her third main point, which is slaves even use songs like Steal Away to Jesus at Midnight to announce to other slaves the time and place of secret forbidden meanings. So right here we're getting a second example, although we're not getting a second quote. She's referencing and mentioning a second slave spiritual that can help us decide to agree with her or not. Maybe she's convinced us that yes, in fact, they do have hidden double meanings. Or maybe by the end of this we say, I still don't believe you, which is fine, right? You're not going to convince everyone everywhere of what your points are. Your goal is just to hopefully make a logical argument where someone says, hey, I see your point, but I don't agree with you. Well, then you've still succeeded. You've made a logical argument. In that third main point, the sentence is also pointing back to the topic sentence, right? Reminding us that there are double meanings here. Of course, the only sentence that's left is that conclusion sentence, which is what whites heard as merely spiritual songs, slaves discerned as detailed messages. The hidden meanings in spirituals allowed slaves to sing what they could not say, right? So it wraps it all up. I've told you that they have double meanings. I've told you what those two double meanings are. I've given you two examples to suggest that I am basing my opinion on some well-founded proof. And now I'm saying that, hey, look, it's true. This is what happened. Slaves were communicating in more than one way with these songs. Right, so this is the kind of format that you might want to think about for your own body paragraphs. Feel free to use that, right? Sometimes having a guide, a formula is a great way to start. If we're feeling really stuck when we're writing, we can always change it up, mix in our style, and do the rest later. But I hope that this is a useful formula that will help you guys move forward as you continue to write your papers.